Have you ever thought about why the world as you see it is as it is? Why does it seem like certain things keep repeating themselves in your life, whether good or bad? It is no coincidence that you are here and these questions are coming your way. The universe has led you to this moment to accompany you on a journey in which you will learn to understand the power of your own perception, and how it shapes your entire reality. We begin with a simple but profound truth: your reality is a reflection of your thoughts and your inner attitudes. You may often believe that external circumstances, the job you have, the people around you, or the coincidences of life, are responsible for how you feel and what you experience. But in truth, the control is deeper, hidden in your heart. A wise monk once said, "Change your thoughts, and you change the world." It is a wisdom that teaches us that our perception works like a filter. Everything we see, feel, and experience is viewed through the lens of our inner beliefs. Imagine that you look at your life like a painting. The colors, the shapes, the details, all this is determined by you. Your thoughts are the brush, your emotions the colors. If you guide the brush consciously, you can design your masterpiece according to your wishes. But what happens if you lose control of it? If your mind is dominated by negative beliefs and fears, then you paint a picture that is dark and oppressive. But the good news is that you always have the power to change the picture. This is where the wisdom of a monk comes into play. This monk realized that true change does not depend on external circumstances, but on the way we shape our inner self. In a silent meditation, in the silence of the mind, he began to understand that all external circumstances are only a shadow of our inner world. When you bring your mind into harmony, when you learn to free yourself from the chains of old beliefs, then the world around you also begins to change. Let's take a first step on this journey. The change begins in you. Everything you experience in your life is a reflection of your inner state. Your mind and emotions emit vibrations that shape reality. And just as a stone thrown into the water makes waves that spread outwards, your thoughts affect everything around you. Now that you have a first glimpse of the power of your perception, let's dive deeper. Together we will discover how you can use this inner power to change your external circumstances. Prepare for your journey to yourself to see the world around you in a new light. The origin of suffering, as described by Buddhist teaching, is deeply hidden within us. The Buddha himself recognized that life is inextricably linked with suffering, but this suffering is not imperative. It does not arise simply from external circumstances, but from what happens in our minds. Internal conflicts, which arise from attachment, false expectations, and misunderstandings of our own nature, are the actual roots of suffering. When we pause for a moment and ask ourselves, why are we really suffering? The answer often lies not in what is happening around us, but in our own reactions to it. It is not the loss of a job that torments us, but the fear of uncertainty and the thought that we are not enough. It is not the quarrel with a loved one that causes the pain, but our expectations that she or he must always act as we wish. The Buddhist perspective helps us understand that attachment is the core of this affliction. When we cling to certain ideas, people, or things and consider them to be unchangeable or necessary for our happiness, we create the conditions for pain. Because life is constantly changing, and nothing will stay as it is forever. Our expectations of an unchanging reality inevitably lead to disappointments. Take a moment to think about it. How often have your expectations of a situation caused you to suffer? Maybe you thought that a certain outcome was inevitable, or that a relationship had to go in a certain way to bring you fulfillment. But these rigid expectations distort reality. They create an illusion that is not in harmony with the truth of life, namely that everything flows and changes. The solution begins with self-observation and mindfulness. By meeting yourself with clarity, you recognize how these attachments and expectations affect your daily life. Mindfulness means seeing the moment as it is without judgment or trying to change it. It is the ability to pause and breathe consciously, instead of automatically reacting to the world around you. When you are mindful, you recognize the fleeting nature of things and let yourself be less determined by them. A simple but powerful tip for introspection is to sit still regularly and observe your thoughts. Ask yourself, what exactly do I expect in this situation? What attachments are holding me back? Through this regular pause, you learn to recognize your inner conflicts before they have the power to dominate your life. As you integrate these practices of mindfulness and self-observation into your daily life, you will gradually realize that the suffering is waning. Not because the world is changing, but because you are changing. You recognize that external circumstances do not have as much power over your well-being as your own thoughts and reactions. Now that you have understood the deep connection between inner conflicts and outer suffering, let's continue exploring how you can untie these inner chains to find more peace and harmony in your life. Next, we will focus on the question of how you can use the power of letting go to free yourself from the causes of suffering. Letting go, such a simple word and yet so deep in its meaning. In a world where we were educated to hold, control and possess, the concept of letting go is downright revolutionary. But there is a key hidden here that leads us to true freedom. The monk, who mastered the art of letting go, knew that control is nothing more than an illusion that chains us to suffering. Letting go does not mean giving up everything, but rather giving up the expectation that things have to be in a certain way. The control you want to exercise over life is just a fleeting phenomenon that deceives you that you can gain security. But in truth, this adherence only leads to an everlasting cycle of unease and frustration. Why? Because life is always moving. Everything you think you possess, be it material things, relationships, or even thoughts, is subject to change. The monk learned that true happiness and inner peace do not depend on external circumstances. Instead, the spirit that lets go becomes light and free, like a feather in the wind that does not stand against the storm, but dances with it. When you let go, you allow the flow of life to carry you. You are no longer overwhelmed by the waves of pain and disappointment, but begin to see the beauty in the change. Imagine a river that flows powerfully and inexorably. If you try to stand up against the current, you will only feel exhaustion and resistance. But as soon as you surrender to the river and accept the current, you are carried by the energy of the water. This is the power of letting go, the ability to flow with life instead of fighting it. But how can you learn this skill? The first step is acceptance. Accept that nothing in this life is really in your control. You can only influence how you react to what life brings you. The monk who embodies this wisdom lives in the moment without binding himself to the result. He knows that everything that comes will go. This acceptance brings serenity, and in this serenity lies true strength. A simple exercise that you can integrate into your daily life is to consciously pause at times when you feel the need to control something. Ask yourself, what would happen if I just let go now? Often you will find that the pressure you feel dissolves by itself as soon as you give up control. In relationships, at work, in your personal projects, again and again there are moments when you feel like you have to hold on, because otherwise everything falls apart. But in truth, something new and wonderful only grows when you let go. It is like a flower that only blooms when it surrenders to the rays of the sun, instead of keeping itself closed for fear of the unknown. Now that you know the meaning and power of letting go, you realize that this ability not only brings freedom, but also creates space for growth and transformation. When you let go, you open up to new possibilities that you couldn't see before because your vision was clouded by the illusion of control. Next, we'll look at how your thoughts and beliefs directly shape your reality. This journey takes you deeper into the understanding of how powerful your mind really is. You are not just a passive observer of your life, you are the creator. Every thought you cherish, every conviction you carry within you, molds the world you live in. What you believe about yourself and the world determines how you experience it. It's like looking through an invisible veil woven from your innermost convictions. This veil affects what you see, how you react to situations, and what people come into your life. Imagine wearing glasses with tinted lenses. This tint represents your thoughts and beliefs. When the glasses are permeated with fear, doubt, or negative beliefs, the world you see through them will appear dark and limited. But if you consciously transform these thoughts, when you start to look at the world with an open, positive, and grateful mind, the reality you experience will also change. A monk once said, "All that we are is the result of what we have thought." This ancient wisdom teaches us that our thoughts are like seeds. What you plant in the soil of your mind will bear fruit sooner or later. If you nourish thoughts of lack, fear, and limitation, you will experience situations in your life that correspond to these thoughts again and again. But when you begin to sow seeds of abundance, trust, and love, your world will begin to unfold in these colors. But how can you consciously influence your thoughts? The first step is mindfulness. You need to learn to watch your thoughts instead of letting them control you. Often we think automatically and unconsciously, without realizing how much power these unconscious thoughts have over our lives. But the moment you become aware of your thoughts, you begin to regain control of your reality. A simple exercise to cultivate this mindfulness is to pause regularly and question your inner dialogues. The next time you realize you're losing yourself in negative thoughts, ask yourself, is that really true? Do I have to believe that? Often you will find that these thoughts are just old patterns that you repeat over and over again without questioning them. Another step towards conscious thinking is visualization. Imagine how you are already living the life you want. Feel what it would be like to have already fulfilled these wishes. Your mind cannot distinguish between imagination and reality. It will respond to the energy you create in your visualizations and begin to adapt your outer world to this inner vision. The power to change your reality lies within you. You don't have to wait for external circumstances to change to be happy. By consciously directing your thoughts, you can direct the course of your life in the direction you want. It's like setting the course of a ship. Your mind is the helmsman, and your thoughts are the compass. But this process requires patience and practice. Like a gardener who takes care of his plants every day, you too must cherish and care for your thoughts. In time, the fruits of your labor will become apparent, and the reality you experience will be exactly what you created for yourself. Next, we'll focus on how to focus on the essentials to avoid distractions and use your energy purposefully. In a world flooded with distractions, focusing on the essentials has an almost magical power. Every day countless impressions, tasks, and information crash into you, and often you feel like a leaf in the wind, blown back and forth by the demands of life. But you can only find true inner peace and fulfillment if you learn to consciously focus your attention on what really matters, the essentials. The modern world offers infinite possibilities, but with this diversity also comes confusion. So many things are competing for your attention, and without a clear inner compass it can easily happen that you lose touch with your true self and your deepest goals. It's like walking through a thick fog where you can't clearly see the direction. This fog is the distractions that affect you every day, from the constant notification on your phone to the countless opinions that want to influence you. But there is a way to clear this fog. The monk, who walked the path of silence and clarity, knew that the key to focusing lies in letting go of all superfluous and putting the essentials in the center. What's left when you remove the noise and distractions? Only what really matters. To focus on the essentials, you must first become clear about your true priorities. What are the things in your life that really matter to you? What dreams, goals, and values carry you through the stormy times? If you answer these questions, you will recognize that much of what concerns you every day has no real meaning. It's often the small, unimportant things that put you off your path. But once you have this realization, you can begin to reorient your energy. A wise man once said, "Where your focus is, there is your energy." If you constantly let yourself be distracted by everything around you, your energy will become fragmented and weak. But if you focus clearly on your true goals, you bundle your strength and can easily achieve what you set out to do. A simple but powerful tip to sharpen your focus is the conscious choice to introduce daily mindfulness rituals. Start your day by realizing what's really important. Set small but significant goals that are in line with your deepest values. Avoid overexerting yourself or losing yourself in too many tasks. A monk would say, one step at a time, but with full consciousness. It's also important to design your environment to minimize distractions. Spaces in which you live and work have a strong impact on your mind. If your room is chaotic and full of disorder, your mind will reflect the same. Create an environment that promotes clarity and tranquility to make it easier for you to focus on the essentials. Another valuable tool that helps you stay focused is to consciously practice saying no. It may be tempting to respond to every request, invitation, and distraction. But the trick is to hide the unimportant to make room for what's really close to your heart. Every no you say to a distraction is a yes to your true goals. Now that you can sharpen your focus and focus on what really matters, your reality will unfold more clearly and purposefully. But like everything in life, this also requires practice and patience. You will learn to become more aware every day and to use your energy in a targeted manner. Next, we want to explore how self-acceptance plays a key role in enabling true change and transformation in your life. Hidden in the depths of your soul is a universal secret. True change and transformation are only possible if you fully accept yourself, as you are, in all your facets. Self-acceptance is the key that opens the door to genuine growth and inner freedom. Without them, our attempts to change the world around us are like trying to build a house on sand. Without a solid foundation, any external change will quickly collapse. But what does it really mean to accept yourself? It means looking compassionately and lovingly at the parts of yourself that you may have long rejected. The dark sides, the insecurities, the mistakes, all this belongs to you. They are not the enemies you have to fight, but teachers who help you grow. A wise monk once said, "What you reject in yourself is what can free you the most." Self-acceptance means not only honoring the light in you, but also embracing the darkness. We often tend to criticize ourselves, compare ourselves to others, or lose ourselves in the feeling of not being good enough. But this inner struggle only leads to more suffering and prevents us from developing the full potential of our lives. By learning to accept yourself, you let go of the burden of self-judgment and open yourself to true transformation. Because change does not come from compulsion or through the attempt to achieve an ideal version of yourself, but through the deep acceptance of what you are at that moment. Self-acceptance is the first step to break the chains of inner conflict. Because only when you accept yourself as you are, you can really change yourself. It's like standing in front of a mirror. As long as you reject the image in the mirror, you won't be able to change it. But as soon as you look at it and accept it, new opportunities open up for you to develop. One of the most powerful exercises to cultivate self-acceptance is the practice of self-reflection. Take time regularly to sit quietly with yourself and listen to your inner self. Ask yourself questions like, what in me is fighting against myself right now? Or, what aspects of my nature am I trying to hide? Through this gentle but in-depth exploration of your own thoughts and emotions, you will gradually realize that there is nothing you need to hide from yourself. Another step towards self-acceptance is practicing compassion, not only for others, but also for yourself. It is often easy for us to forgive other people for their mistakes and weaknesses, but we are relentless towards ourselves. Remember that you too are a person who learns and grows on this journey of life. Be gentle with yourself when you make mistakes, and forgive yourself if you are not perfect. Perfection is an illusion, and it's your imperfection that makes you unique. When you learn to accept yourself, something magical happens. The external circumstances in your life begin to change. People and situations that have previously caused you difficulties lose their influence on you because you are no longer entangled in an inner struggle. Your inner peace and self-acceptance radiate outwards and attract harmony into your life. Self-acceptance is not the end, but the beginning. It is the ground on which you stabilize yourself before you can evolve and transform. And the more you anchor yourself in this acceptance, the easier it will be for you to initiate the external changes in your life. Now that you've understood the power of self-acceptance, let's take a look at the next important aspect of change: patience and perseverance. These two virtues are necessary to ensure that your inner labor bears long-term fruit. There is a wisdom as old as time itself: great things need patience. In a world dominated by speed and instant satisfaction, patience seems almost like a lost art. But the monk, who plunged deep into the secrets of reality, knew that every significant change, every transformation takes time. There is no quick way to enlightenment, no easy trick to change your reality overnight. True change happens gradually, like a tree that takes root over years and slowly grows up. Patience is not just about waiting. It is a conscious decision to trust the process, even if the final result is not yet visible. If you look at your life with patience, you realize that every day, every moment offers a way to get closer to your goal, even if the progress is sometimes barely recognizable. The monk once said, "Grass does not grow faster when you pull it." This wisdom teaches us that we must respect the natural flow of life. Change is happening at their own pace, and it's up to us to trust it. However, patience is not passive. It requires perseverance and dedication. Perseverance means staying on the path despite all obstacles, even if the fruits of your efforts are not yet to be seen. It is the ability to continue even when progress seems slow or when doubts nag at you. Because in the depths of your being you know that every effort, every mindful action will eventually find its reward. Imagine a mountaineer who wants to climb a high peak. The ascent is long, rocky, and often arduous. But every step he takes brings him closer to his goal, even if the summit is still far away. If he gives up because the road seems too hard, he will never enjoy the breathtaking view that awaits him upstairs. It is the same with your own journey of change. It's the small, steady steps that eventually get you to your destination. Sometimes it can seem like nothing changes, no matter how hard you try. But in such moments, it is important to remember that a lot is happening in secret. Like a seed that germinates under the ground before breaking through the surface, forces work in you that may not yet be visible, but will come to light over time. Your mind, your body, your environment, everything gradually adapts to your new thoughts and actions. And this is exactly where the true magic of patience and perseverance lies. It allows you to appreciate the invisible processes and trust the natural course of things. A valuable way to cultivate patience and perseverance is to practice gratitude. If you stop every day and recognize the small progress you've made, you'll realize that you're already on your way. It may not always be spectacular, but every step, every moment of growth counts. Gratitude helps you to stay in the here and now and not fall into the impatience that so often arises from the desire for immediate results. You can also strengthen your perseverance through daily mindfulness rituals. A monk knows that the repetition of small, positive habits, be it meditation, breathing exercises or mindful action, has a transformative effect over time. Even if it may seem inconspicuous at first, you will gradually reap the fruits of your perseverance. Now that you have understood the importance of patience and perseverance in change, you realize that these are not skills that you will eventually master perfectly. Rather, it is ongoing companions on your way that remind you of the beauty of slow but steady transformation. In the next chapter, we will devote ourselves to the conclusion and look together at how you can integrate all the wisdom you have experienced so far into your daily life in order to finally change reality in your favor. Now that you have this journey through the wisdom of a monk behind you, you are at a point where you begin to recognize the true potential within yourself. Everything you've learned about reality, from the power of perception to the meaning of patience and perseverance, leads you to an inevitable truth: you are the architect of your life. The reality you experience is formed by the thoughts you cherish, the energy you radiate, and the actions you do every day. The world as you see it is the result of what you carry inside. It's like you're a wizard who creates the world around you with every breath. But this spell is not a sudden, spectacular act. Rather, it is a silent, consistent art that you refine day by day. The change of reality is not a one-time event, but a continuous process in which you integrate new elements into your life step by step, let go of old patterns and learn to direct your thoughts and energies. Look back at the wisdom you learned. It began with the realization that reality is nothing fixed, but is shaped by your perception. You have learned that the inner conflicts you carry and the expectations you have of life distort the outside world. But with the art of letting go and understanding your own thoughts, you can correct these distortions. You've realized that self-acceptance is the key to real change, that only by accepting yourself as you are can you experience true transformation. And finally, through patience and perseverance, you have understood that everything you want to change takes time and that true change arises from within. But now that you carry all this wisdom in you, you may ask yourself, how can I integrate this into my daily life? The monk would advise you not to strive for perfection, but for progress. It's not about leading a whole new life overnight, but about taking small, conscious steps. Start every day by observing your thoughts and being mindful of them. Practice letting go wherever you notice that you're holding on to old ideas. Take time to reflect on yourself and recognize the moments in which you have shown perseverance, even if the changes still seem small. A monk once said, "A man is what he thinks throughout the day." This simple truth can be a source of infinite power for you. If you start to consciously direct your thoughts, you will soon find that your reality is also starting to change. You will see situations in a new light, face challenges with more serenity, and appreciate the beauty of the moment instead of constantly striving for your neighbor. Remember, reality is not something that happens to you, it is something that you create. Every thought, every decision, every action is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. And the more you refine this art, the more the image you paint becomes an expression of your inner truth. Life always gives you the opportunity to start over, to set a new line, to choose a new color. Now that you have internalized all this wisdom, it is up to you to implement it. The world around you will change once you take responsibility for the world within you. The reality lies in your hands. You are the creator, the artist, and the dreamer of your own destiny. Take that moment, breathe deeply, and feel the power that rests within you. Your path begins now, and with each step you reshape the world. Trust that the universe is with you as you continue this journey.